So I'll hand you back in the meantime to Alan Wilkins and the team.
Thank you very much, Hugh and JJ. Well, perhaps the shape of that last tackle at the end of that first half epitomised the uncompromising approach of Brive here. That tackle on the near line, and a brutal first half. And it seems, Eddie, that when you come to France, a French club side takes ferocity to a new level in club rugby.
Well, it's a very delicate issue because, of course, you don't want to condone any sort of violence. But this is European Cup rugby. This is a different culture of rugby altogether. And when you come to France, you enter a cauldron like no other. And what do? You either stand up or you lie down. And French clubs travelling away in the French Domestic Championship lie down. There's no culture of winning away from home. Pontypridd have come here with a brand new attitude. They're saying they take it face on. Now, it's spilt over into excessive violence. But there is a delicate point at which you have to say, hey, we're not taking this. And that's the point we reached, and then it went several steps too far. But this is rugby on a new scale, and this sort of challenge, if this is the way ahead for rugby, then we have to deal with it in a new way.
So how do Pontypridd deal with it then, John?
Well, I was very pleased what happened when when the fight broke out, because if you just stand there and take it all, they'll give it to you all day. And I don't I'm not all for violence, but if one of your mates is getting beat up, you've got to go in and help him. It starts there with a tackle. Fair enough, he goes in, and what happens next is, I think, they pinpoint McIntosh, but when the camera goes in, there's a definite headbutt goes into Dale McIntosh. Maybe he doesn't show it from this angle yet, and then all hell breaks out, and I'm glad that Martin Williams goes in to protect, and everyone's watching. What you've got to watch is off the camera now. There he goes. Malia, he's throwing punches in everywhere, and what happens, Venditti flies one in. The fight breaks off to the left. Jason Lewis comes in, but watch Pinot. He just stamps on Jason Lewis, and you can't just watch that happen. You've got to go in and you've got to help your corner.
Laurent Seigne. Here's Dale McIntosh. Now, he gave away the penalty. Now, that was fair enough. It was a penalty against him. But basically, he is now being assaulted by 4 or 5 Brive players. Now, this is deliberate. It's very careful. It's very difficult just to say, well, it's poor old Dale McIntosh. But you come to France and it's 6-all. And the French clubs deliberately take it up into a gear. They are not having it all their own way. They deliberately target certain players. And it is clinical violence.
I think Pontypridd now really, weathered the storm in the first 20 minutes. But then again, the fight broke out. Brive won't get in their own way. And because it's like part of the culture here in France, that fights break out in every club match, all of a sudden, Brive take it in their stride, they go on, and they score a couple of tries to finish. I think it did definitely shake Ponty more than Brive.
Job well done. Brive, 6-all, struggling. They alter the shape of the game. They initiate the violence. 2 men sent off. Hey, that's a fair sacrifice, because then they slip into that extra gear, just as they did against Cardiff by more or less legitimate means last year. This year, they deliberately took the game into a different shape.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what this side can do. I mean, it happened for the first 10 minutes of the second half against Cardiff last season. Here, they've started the onslaught. Let's have a look at some rugby.
This is, tremendous play. The forwards set up the platform, and there's so many men as an overlap. Any one of the 3 players could score. What happened there? It's just the forward drive is absolutely superb. It's done so quickly. They suck all this defence in, and they've got numbers. Venditti could have scored. Anyone of 4 could have scored there, but Karat gets the ball and flies over in the corner. It was all set up for a fantastic forward drive.
It was all set up by the forwards. This is Karat the junior finishing it off. But after the fight, 7 against 7, Brive they slip into this gear, and their forward display after the sendings off was superb.
Well, the worrying thing is, John, that Pontypridd now have to think during half-time how they're going to stop it.
It's going to be very, very difficult, and I just think they've got to stop that forward drive, that source. That's the main thing. That's what's given them the big problem. The defences have been superb. Mark Rowley's made some tackles. Dale McIntosh pulled a great tackle off on one of the French backs, and they were still hanging on in there. No, it's the pace of the forwards at rucks and walls, and that's where they're going to struggle.
Eddie, I know that you're impressed with the Brive number 8, Francois Dubousset. Terrific man in the back row and a great man around the park. Scored the second try.
Well, he scored a try from the base of the scrum against Cardiff last year. And 7 against 7 in the forwards, when you've got the sort of drive on that the front 5 established, then Dubois is more or less unstoppable. It's almost impossible to stop a number 8 of his dynamic qualities from scoring from this range.
He scored exactly the same against Cardiff last year, and like I was on the trial and he runs at me, I wasn't going to stop him. And Neil's in a similar position here, you know.
The slight turn of the scrum just to finally destroy the back row cover.
What happens here, they turn it, and Martin Williams can't protect Neil Jenkins. They turn away, they pick it up, the time is superb. There's no way Neil could have stopped him there, absolutely no way. I just think, you know, he scored against Llanelli, and that's going to be the problem. They chose to go for the scrum, and you know, they score from it. You know, 2 very, very quick tries, and you know, I think Pontypridd are glad the half-time whistle came. Now they can regroup, and Dennis has got to sort the way out of stopping that forward drive.
Well, it's Brive who've come back out onto the pitch here at half-time. Of course, in these 10-minute intervals, and just as well we've got 10 minutes in this match. Let everyone cool down just for a moment, and let the referee have a word maybe. But Brive have come back onto the pitch. You can call them a professional outfit, Eddie, and as you say, they take the level, well, of violence, they take the level of the physical combat to a point, don't they?
Oh, whatever it takes, whatever is necessary. This is a cherished corner of their land, and they defend it, and they do whatever it takes to win here.
You only have to look at the fixtures from over the weekend. Paul, there was incidents in the Pau game. Clermont Ferrand against Newport, there were incidents there. This is not going to be the last of those incidents in the European Cup, especially when you do come to France. They're aggressive, you know, and they're very committed, and sometimes they are dirty. But state again, I was so pleased to see Pontypridd stand up for themselves. Everybody's saying that Welsh rugby's going soft, and now this Ponty just stuck, you know, came out and they, you know, gave as good as they took. Really, you know, I was pleased that they, you know, did that.
16-6 it is at half-time. Dale McIntosh, as well as Lionel Mallier, has been sent off after 26 minutes of this first half. And tries by Sébastien Carat and François Duvesset. Do you see any... well, how do you see Pontypridd just coming back in the second half?
Well, they've got to dig in deep. They've got to keep making the tackles. It is only a 10-point deficit. It's not insurmountable, but really they have to re-establish a forward platform. Those 7 forwards have got to do something very special.
What they have to do, I think, is that they have to stop now thinking about the fighting and the aggressiveness of the French side, because Brive will come out to play football. They will have done the damage. They'll have scored the 2 tries. They won't. Hopefully, they won't be dirty now. They'll just try and play football.
And so let's hand back. Thank you, John and Eddie. And let's go rejoin our commentators for the second half, JJ Williams and Hugh Llewellyn Davis.
Thank you, Alan.